and Wheezy. Moving on up. A
No, no,
couple of
no, no, no,
reasons.
no. We
What?
started with Jeanette
Dubois.
Dubois. Yeah,
Well, I mean, okay, but
yeah.
nobody, unfortunately, you go first to George.
And not
Somebody
nobody.
just texted and said, I watch the Jeffersons every night, Channel 6.2 and Saturday night.
And not nobody do nothing to my baby.
So, I was telling Keon, I was talking to my grandson this weekend, talked, in fact, yesterday. And we were going through, his mom was telling me all his favorite songs. So one of his favorite songs is Bad Mama Jamma. That's my favorite song. And then his other favorite song was, or is, the Jeffersons theme music. And we were singing it together. Now he has some of his own lyrics. He hasn't quite learned all the lyrics. So Atlas, had like a different take on it, but he got the to a deluxe apartment in the sky. He got that part. He got that part down. The thing that was so crazy though is that when you think about this being February and Black History Month, the Jeffersons was one of the first shows to portray an upper middle class Black family. Like when you think about the Cosby Show, Blackish, any of the things that we think about now as successors, they all are built on the foundation of the Jeffersons, and that what the characters, what they were doing on that show was groundbreaking. The fact that you had George Jefferson, who was able to talk crazy about other people, and it was all able to fly at that time. Like, people too sensitive today. Most people, if it was on primetime TV, they couldn't handle the Jeffersons today. So I just thought that that was cool, and I appreciated that Key started the day in that way. Let me just say good morning, everybody. What up, Carvey? Carvey is a young brother who manages our social media. And I just saw an amazing photo of this brother in a tux, suited and booted this weekend, out and about. Red bow tie, y'all. Red bow tie on black. It looks so good, so handsome. And he came in basically to tell Keon, you ain't ready. So,
I
you
don't
got,
think that's
yeah,
what he
that's
said.
what he said. That's what he said.
I
So you
think
got a
he said,
youngin walking in the door, the old school, like old school.
no,
You are
with the clap. I think what he said
he
was,
said old school.
is that what he said?
That's what it felt like.
I think what he said,
That's what it
I
felt.
think what he said
Why we clapping
was,
back?
I had that suit thing on. He didn't say tux or nothing. He said that suit thing.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like,
Clean out your ears and open your
where
eyes.
you at? That's what I heard.
Been there, done that.
He was like, see, I told you, he all old now. He like, boy, back in the
Got
day.
one in the closet.
Back in the day, I was sexing in a mug.
Check out next week.
I told you, did I tell you he was going to say that too? I'm going to be ready next week, though. I'm getting fired for the summer.
Yeah.
Look,
She know the phrase.
That's the promise every summer, Carvey. We had this conversation every summer. He getting fired.
Every summer, I say, hashtag me too. I can feel you looking at me. Stop it.
Because I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
You look a little light in the tail there, fella. I be like, really?
Yeah.
Tutu.
Don't confuse that.
Yeah,
good morning, Mr. Jackson Malone. Not suited and booted. How are you this way? You got on a beater?
Didn't have to be, because Joy.
Dude, I have not seen a beater in a minute.
You look at a
You're
beater
sitting up
every
here
day.
looking all domesticated.
Joy in the evening brings drag in the morning.
Wait. So you was kicking it last night?
All weekend.
You didn't call nobody?
Matter of fact,
you was out parlaying and partaking, and you didn't call me?
I was on Carvey
I
the
get
Page
sick
Friday
of you.
night. You hear it now? You hear?
I'm just saying, you was out kicking it again.
I know Friday
I
night.
see how
I
we
thought
do.
I was Carvey age and woke up your age.
I'll
tell you that.
Well,
I had to find
don't drag me into your foolishness.
I had to find a new deal to take.
Let me be clear. Carvey can't kick it with me. Let me just be clear. Please don't get age confused.
You misread the statement. I said Friday. I was playing like I was Carvey age, and I woke up your age.
Again.
I had to make a phone call and some texts. Do you have any of these? Because the leave ain't working.
Okay.
But I was cool. Well, I said ready by
Did you have a good? So it sounds like you had a good weekend.
Man,
This is how we do it.
Boom, 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 boom.
This is how he does it. Well, I had a great weekend. Friday, I went to go see Black Violin, and I'm actually wearing the Black Violin hoodie that I got while at the event. And let me just say this: Kev and Will B did not disappoint. The guitarist that they had open for them, I got to get the brother's name. It was Abraham something. I'll get his name. He was great. He was great.
Abraham and John Martin.
He actually went to school with Giannis. He's from Greece, but his mom moved him here as a young guy, and so I think he was out of Texas, but he actually said he went to school with Giannis. So he was amazing. But I'm gonna just tell y'all. So I go to the Market Center quite a bit to go to different shows and events, and you know there will be Black folks in attendance, but it's not a lot. They sprinkle throughout. Okay, to go to Black Violin and turn around and look at the theater, to look in the front, to look to the sides of me, to look behind me. The number of Black folks that were in the theater for Black Violin was over the top. When I tell you those first like 4 or 5 sections, it's like in a VIP situation. And typically, like, sometimes I think like they may be either members of the Market Center, but or guests, I don't know, but it's like a section that typically you don't see a lot of Black folks in that section. It's sprinkles. The section was predominantly Black for Black Violin. And I was seated like in that first row right behind that section. So I'm probably 5 rows from the stage. And, I had sisters all to my right. I had other folks to my left, but everybody came to that show to celebrate these young artists, to hear this amazing music and just to kick it. And like the row that I was sitting on, all of the, I assumed that these sisters knew each other, and they was like, nah, they all had just come to the show on their own and just came to kick it. And by the time we got done, up dancing, laughing, kicking it, having a ball, you wouldn't have known that we didn't come together because everybody was having a good time. So, and there were children there. Some people had brought their children, and the artist, Kev, who I actually interviewed on the radio, they made a point during that show because they understood that they had children in the audience to talk about, taking up an instrument, what practicing looks like every day, to stay committed to the craft. They gave a whole motivational, inspirational, few moments to children in the audience, which I thought was cool. They also talked about the fact that 2,000 Milwaukee Public School students got to come to a performance earlier that day. And evidently, those young people partied with Black Violin. The reviews that I heard from some other folks who were there that morning, they talked about the kids was out their seat. They were dancing, having a good time. Could not believe that they was partying so hard. So Milwaukee, we truly had a treat this weekend having those brothers in. And everybody was phenomenal in their band. The drummer, the keyboardist, the dude that was mixing. I mean, like everybody was off the chain. And just to see that level of Black excellence, it was phenomenal. And I was just so happy for our community. We had a ball. So that was number one. The other thing that I did, and I just did this on Saturday, I went over to IPAMA. And folks are like, IPAMA, Michelle, what is that? So the Institute for the Preservation of African American Music and Arts. So it was perfect coming off Black Violin on Friday night to understand that in Milwaukee, that we have this facility that has been put in place to preserve African American music and arts right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A lot of people know that Bishop Cedric Daniels, who passed not too long ago, had been working on creating this amazing facility, in which it was a cultural hub, if you will, and not far from Holy Redeemer Church over off of Hampton. We all convened over there Saturday because there was a memorial, a dedication, a ribbon cutting for the memorial repository to Cedric Daniels that the community had an opportunity to see. And so let me just say this: the facility itself is beautiful, and you believe this hidden gem is right here in the city. The art that has been collected and donated, provided to uh, the IPAC institution is nothing short of amazing. Some of the statues when you first, or sculptures when you first walk in, blow you away. Two children with the slave chains on them, like, breaks your heart and hits your soul as soon as you walk through the door. But the art throughout, which has come from around the country and around the world, uh, more than 1,000 artifacts that we were aware of, and even more that we may be unfamiliar with, that are being curated and placed. And when I say it's like being in Detroit, it's like being in Chicago and going to the DeSable, it's like going to the Charles Ellis Wright Museum. It is nothing. I mean, it was just so cool to be in there. And, I couldn't help but smile. I met a lot of people, I met people listening to the show, wonderful couple that had relocated here from Detroit. I had a great conversation with them. But, just talk to a lot of people, and just the pride, is seeing what it looks like when we show up and when we show out and when we decide we're going to do something, but also appreciating, and the fact, and thank you, Senator Taylor's listening. She said, make sure you say there are two facilities. And the other one, I knew about it, but I always forget about it. So we got 32nd in Hampton, and then there's another one off 91st and Brown Deer Road. Uh, when you think about, like, the vision of what one person can do. Now, don't get me wrong, all kinds of people gotta come to the table to make it happen. And one of the pastors that spoke at the event, Pastor Brown, I was so mad because normally I have a pen in my purse because 'cause I'm always taking notes. I didn't have my pen and my phone was dead. So I couldn't, like, write down what he was saying, but he basically talked about, having the vision, be manifested, and all the folks coming together to make this thing happen. And that Bishop's love of history, African history, African art, and how all of that, now ends up being what we see. But you got all these people who believe in the dream, who support the dream, and make the dream happen. It was the best way to start a Saturday. It was great to come off of Black Violin and go to that event the next day. And I just have to say that I was blown away. I was so disappointed because you guys may remember I talked about this Black artist by the name of Charlie Palmer. I had saw the cover of Time magazine, and his artwork was featured on the cover of Time magazine, and it was the sister who had her updo, and in her hair was all of uh, this artwork, this scenery. Uh, and the painting just blows you away. He was there Saturday, but he had been there earlier before we got there, and so I had missed him. So disappointed that I didn't get to talk to him, because I have been just enamored with this man's work ever since I saw the cover of Time magazine. But a lot of people, familiar faces were there, met a lot of new people. But again, just, and caller, I see you, here I come. Just beaming with pride, y'all, at what we can do when we decide to do something. When we decide we moving, when we changing, we creating, we living a different way. When we decide we in the game, that's what it felt like at Black Violin. Like, Black folks is like, no, we coming. Don't worry, we coming. The numbers was crazy. We coming, and we coming strong. It's just nothing like turning around and seeing that ocean of black all around you, man. You're like, man, look at my people. And it's not just about um, the party of it, but the support and the education. So I so appreciated that. Let me go to the phone line real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Okay. Well, call us back. I miss you. But yeah, so I just have to again shout out to the family of Bishop Cedric Daniels, the members over at the church, and the folks that are supporting this project. It was absolutely cool to have been a part of that. All right, y'all, I gotta take a quick break. But I told folks that I would be bringing candidates in leading up to primary on February 20th. And so this morning we are talking with one of the candidates out of the 7th district. That's going to be at 7:30. Also got a couple other interviews lined up for this morning. So please stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of information. Want to make sure you get everything. And yeah, y'all gonna have to wait to talk to Keith about the Super Bowl because y'all know I don't jam with it. Although, you know, a couple people hit me up about, like Usher and the performances and Alicia Keys and, da da da. And I'm like, I appreciate all that. I do. But at the end of the day, after you're done shaking your behind, did anything change? No, it didn't. I'll be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV. ACCAM 6.5 FM.
Gregory Stanford came to Milwaukee with an intent to leave. A native of Washington, D.C., aka Chocolate City, Stanford arrived on the campus of Marquette University in 1964 to study journalism. Stunned at the lack of racial representation on campus, Stanford joined the Students United for Racial Equity, SURE, to increase diversity of both faculty and students. In response, Marquette launched its Educational Opportunity Program, which remains a part of the university some 50 years later. Stanford launched his career as a general assignment reporter at the Journal in 1971. Later that year, he co-founded the Wisconsin Black Media Association. Stanford covered the federal courts, urban affairs, issues of race, and more. Joining the Journal's editorial board in 1988, Gregory was known as someone who opened doors for young journalists. Stanford died in 2019, but left behind a rich legacy in the field of journalism.
It's Black History Month, a time to recognize and celebrate the achievements and progress of Black people. We honor and acknowledge where we came from, we celebrate and appreciate where we are now, and we commit to continue to make history as we move forward. Here at the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce, we want to make history by making Black people the largest employer of Black people. Let's make history together. Congratulations on a history full of determination, motivation, and accomplishment. This is not just a month of recognition, but a time to plan to continue to create legacy and make change in our Black communities. Come celebrate Black history with the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce, February 8th at the Hyatt Place, 800 West Juneau Avenue, 2 to 8 p.m. Entertainment, food, and positivity. Open to the public. Let's celebrate Black history.
This Valentine's Day, treat your special someone to an unforgettable dining experience at Sam's Place. Come enjoy live music and your choice of red or white wine or a bottle of champagne. Indulge in a 5-course meal, starting with a mouth-watering charcuterie board. The main course, your choice of fried rib, charcoal barbecue pork ribs, grilled salad, and fried or steamed lobster, accompanied by seasoned rice, gourmet smashed potatoes, and your choice of fresh vegetables. And make sure you save room for dessert. Choose from peach cobbler, chocolate-covered strawberries, and more. Make this Valentine's Day one to remember for just $200. RSVP your table and meal by February 12th. For further information, please call 414-445-5545. That's 414-445-5545.
This is Martina Golengrave, President and CEO of Mental Health America of Wisconsin. I want to take a moment to remind you that your mental health matters. This time of year can be stressful, but we have programs and services committed to supporting our community. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping adults and kids live mentally healthier lives. We offer online screenings, outpatient therapy, and a peer-run warm line for support day and night. Call us today, 414-276-3122, or visit mawisconsin.org to learn more about